All right, well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Connection Hangout. Tonight is the Diamond Connection. My name is Paul Taira, and I'm joined by my co-host, David Asarnow, in Marietta, Georgia. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Paul.
How's weather in Marietta today?
Today's actually beautiful. I didn't need a jacket today, unlike the past week.
Wow, it is chilly here in Vegas. It is.
What is it, 60, 70 degrees?
Lower than that, probably like high 40s, 50s, so it's chilly for us.
For you it is.
Definite. All right, everybody, the Connection Hangout. This is not a business presentation, nor is it a product training or education webinar. If you'd like more information on ASEA or its technologies of ASEA Redox Supplement or Renew 28, please get back with the person who invited you to be on this Hangout right after we're finished here. The Connection Hangout is designed to connect real people getting real results with all of our viewers, and it's just wonderful. We are in such a great time right now with ASEA, and looking forward to tonight's guest. Now, if you have any questions, you can type them right beneath the screen in the comments thread below. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe chime in, say where you're viewing from. So without further ado, let me introduce tonight's very special guest. Deni Robinson, along with her husband Tom, have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. You're not going to believe that when you see her. Deni has over 20 years of experience in the direct sales and network marketing relationship business or relationship marketing industry. Her network marketing career has given her many accolades. She's been a top manager in the nation, earned 10 company cars, and has received numerous awards. Deni is passionate about health, wellness, and I know this because if I'm out on a run or in the gym when we're on various trips, I always see her in there as well. And she's very passionate about making a difference to humanity. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Triple Diamond Executive Deni Robinson. How's it going, Deni?
It's great to be here, Paul. I'm thrilled to be with everyone tonight. What a fun venue you have to invite people to tell them about ASEA.
Yes, we are super excited to have you. Now, a little bit of background to start things off. Can you share with all the viewers out there what it's like in the life of Deni Robinson? What neck of the woods you live in? I think everyone would love to hear more about you.
You bet. Well, Tom and I live in beautiful Spokane, Washington. I'm looking at my windows right now. We have property. I have 10 horses. I mean, 3 horses. We've got 10 acres. We actually have 4 grandchildren now, and we love to ski and water ski and play out in our property and shoot guns and really just travel and enjoy the world and all the incredible friends that we've made along the way.
Now, real quick, you designed and built your house. Is that accurate?
I did actually, Paul. My father had been a builder, and so 6 years ago I leveled our existing home. We loved our property, and I rebuilt it. I was a general contractor, and since then, with ASEA, I've built a great big shop with a big apartment in it, and a little girl dream come true. I built a beautiful horse barn last summer, and that's really completed our home here.
Fantastic.
Now here's a question, Deni, because I designed and built my own house. Would you ever do it again?
Absolutely, I would. I love it. I love to build. I love to build things, and maybe that's why Tom's really glad that I am doing ASEA, because he knows, again, I like to build things, and he's like, Deni, you've built from one end of our property to the next, so you can't do this again. But,
well, it was fun. I don't think my wife would let me do it again, but you know, it's a whole nother story.
No, it was great. So what's the day in the life of Deni? You know, right now, Paul, I'm truly having the time of my life. We have built an incredible business with ASEA, and now what I do is I help other people do the same, and help share and tell people the gift of ASEA, and either help with their health or perhaps their finances.
So Deni, you know, you've had a lot of success. Now, what was the reason you initially, you know, and I've heard you say you have a PhD, public high school diploma, but and your story is absolutely amazing. What was the reason for initially getting involved in network marketing? And this is a two-part question: how did you end up at ASEA?
Well, Tom and I were married young, and so I'd finished 2 years of college. But since we were married, I told him, if you go back to school, I'll put you through. And I actually got involved in Tupperware. So I put my husband through college and graduate school selling Tupperware, hence the 10 different cars that we had. He used to say, Deni, if we ever have a fire, everything's going to ooze out the doors, because we had a lot of plastic. But Tupperware is a direct selling company. It was at that time. And I remember in my later 20s, I think I was 28, and I remember sitting with some girlfriends in Dallas and going, if this was one of those network marketing things, we'd all be doing much better. Because even though I had done very well as a top manager in the nation, I had sponsored people who had actually done and made more money than myself. Because those people, actually, you would lose them and they could kind of become your competition. And then shortly after that, I was really introduced to network marketing. My husband actually met a gentleman, and I didn't know anything about the product at that time, but he brought home a brochure. And on that brochure, there was one phrase that really caught my attention. It said, if you're willing to do for a couple of years what others aren't willing to do, you can live the rest of your life like others only dream. And I thought, well, that's what I want to do. I knew that Tom and I were very hard workers, and I loved the idea about residual income. I understood that. My father had raised 7 children in life insurance, so I understood those concepts. And to realize that, again, people would not be my competition, nor would I lose them, but I could always help them and make a difference. Also, I got involved in a health product company, and very quickly, when I realized I could make a difference for people in their health and well-being, and when people started to come up to me with tears in their eyes and say, Deni Robinson, thank you, this is what this product has done for me. No one ever came up to me and said, Deni Robinson, thank you so much. You keep my food so fresh. That never happened. So that was my shift into network marketing. And we grew very quickly. But as you know, you can have a great product, but if you don't have the right corporate structure, things can fall apart. And we became good friends with the president of that company. And I knew too much what was happening behind the scenes, and I have to be in integrity with what I'm doing, and I could no longer really believe in that company. And so I pulled back from that company. And then, 6 years ago in December, Trish Winkler called me and said, hey, Deni, I want you to listen to this call. And I listened to a Tuesday night vision call. And a gentleman that we all know, Alan Noble, spoke that night, and he said some things that really made sense to me. And the reason for that is, again, with my 4 children, I have 1 daughter. And 13 years ago, actually, this winter, she dealt with a very, very serious health condition that would cause you to have your hair fall out, with treatment. And as any parent here on the call can imagine, that was a very difficult time for us. And I did everything in my power and did hundreds of hours of research and fought the doctor on a lot of fronts. And what I realized is, her body had an immune system problem. And as I would fight with the doctor and say, if I can help her immune system, I believe her body's capable of doing amazing things. And he would say, well, yes, in theory. And I said, I don't believe there's any theory in that. And so she's a healthy, beautiful 25-year-old who's building a great ASEA business now. But when I sat on that call, I thought, this makes sense to me. I get it. And within a few days, Tom and I were down in Salt Lake meeting with the founders of this company. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. But at the end of the day of listening to Bertus Norton and James Pack and Gary Samuelson, I asked this question. I said, what would this stuff do for perhaps this kind of condition or malady in the body? And when Gary Samuelson leaned forward and said, Deni, does what you're describing have a cell involved? I said, I get it. I'm in. That first year, I couldn't really engage because I was building our dream home. But 5 years ago, right now, this January, I went on a molecular mission. And I just knew that there were people who I could make a difference for. And the more people we put this product on, the more miracles that I saw. And really went on this molecular mission. And the last 5 years of being so engaged have been some of the most incredibly joyful, significant contribution feelings that I've ever had. Other than raising our 4 children, the most significant thing I've ever done. And of course, some of the very most profitable years of our life. I didn't go into this to make this kind of money, but it has certainly allowed us freedom beyond our wildest dreams, David, certainly.
Cool.
You didn't do it for making that kind of money, but you're definitely not giving it back, right?
I don't think so. You know, my husband's a CPA. You know, he's got a master's degree in accounting, and he'll often say, you know, Deni, I love you, honey. You're great, but you don't understand. This doesn't happen in real life. You know, for you to go from this to this in this short amount of time, and you've got no brick and mortar business. You've got no employees. You've really got no overhead. All you need is your computer and a cell phone, and you're in business anywhere around the world. And, you know, that happened this last year. I spent over 10 weeks out of the country talking to Sia and traveling the world. And yes, that's the incredible thing about it. Yeah,
we're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a minute as well. But, you know, I loved a few things, you know, in your situation that I definitely resonate with as well. One of the things you said was when someone told you that for the next 2 years, if you're willing to do the things that other people aren't, then you will have a lifestyle that they won't have. And kind of one of our mantras, my good buddy Kevin Porter shared with me years ago, it's always stuck in my head, was today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can have what others don't. And I just kept resonating over and over, and so I would say that most of us, any diamond definitely has that in mind, not doing, because that I think is one of the biggest reasons why people have challenges. They listen to people who aren't successful, and they just end up doing what they do, and they get what they get. So I love the fact that you did share that, Deni, and look at what you ended up getting. Deserve every bit of it. Okay, let's move over here to to talking a little bit about traveling. First off, Sia's incentive trips. I mean, almost like you can't even count the amount of different places that you've seen over the years. Can you maybe share one or two of your favorite moments from one of these trips?
You know, absolutely. You know, we all have a bucket list. I used to call it a bucket list, and now I call it a live-it list, is what I call it.
I like it.
And one of the places that was on my, at that time, when I used to think bucket list, that I changed to live it, because I want to live it all. I want to see it, smell it, taste it, and I wanted to go on a Mediterranean cruise. And that was a trip that we had. And the moment they released it, boy, I went to work, let me tell you. And to be able to travel the Mediterranean, we spent actually over 3 weeks touring for the first time on a Mediterranean cruise, and then back into Rome and, you know, London and Florence, and it was just incredible. That was just incredible. But then also to be able to go on the diamond trips with people that I know, love, and care about, like my own family. To be in the swimming pool, laughing and playing, ball, and just sharing stories and life experiences. Those have become very, very dear to me. Again, people that you bring into your business, part of your business, become like family. And that's incredibly dear. And I've traveled the world with those people, Paul. And I absolutely love that.
Awesome. Cool. So, Deni, on the Mediterranean cruise, what was your favorite island or favorite place you visited?
Oh, I loved Barcelona. We went and hiked the Cinque Terres, which I can't wait to go back to. Of course, then into Florence. It was phenomenal. And have went back to those places numerous times. We just got back last month from going back to Venice and to Florence as well. I really love Italy. And
awesome.
So can't do it again.
Fantastic. Well, you also have a global ASEA business. Now, what are some of the places you've traveled to on business, and why?
I figured recently I've been to over 20 countries with my business. I absolutely love Austria. I think it's beautiful.
Hmm.
Stockholm has become a real new favorite of mine as well. Munich's a great fun place to be. I got to spend time with Paul at Oktoberfest there. That was
You, you survived that.
Off of this, I want to hear about that.
Yeah.
for this little Montana girl. I was going, man, I am not in Kansas anymore. Let me tell you.
North Montana.
Yeah. So it's just amazing. You know, what used to seem so big, this world, is just, you know, it's just a flight away. And as I've often reflected, as I've sat in the back of a room with presentations being given in various languages, I have before just sat there and wept like a little girl, thinking because I opened my mouth in my little town of Spokane, Washington, this has taken me around the world. And not only that, but people have come up to me and said, you don't know me, but you told someone who told someone who told someone who told someone, and this is what this product has done for me. Mm. And when you hear those stories that can sometimes make you leave a room and just really have to have a moment, and to know that you get paid for doing that, it's incredible. Where else could I, again, have that kind of freedom to leave, even with my husband, for 10 weeks last year out of the country? But to be doing that, and also as you travel, the thing I love about network marketing is you get to travel and see the world, but it's not just like you're a visitor, a tourist. You're getting to see it through other people's eyes, what they know and love, and it makes it so incredibly rich, certainly.
Fantastic.
Super. Now, Karen Riley the other day on the In Touch call introduced this concept, and along with Tyler Norton, about asking people who have created success in something what they would recommend, or some words of wisdom. So we've got these regionals coming up, and I encourage everyone to attend these, if not multiple. And while you're there, go up to one of the diamonds, or triple diamonds, like Deni Robinson, and ask the question. So I like to ask you, Deni, if you had someone who was brand new that came up to you and asked for just maybe one recommendation to create and achieve the level of success that you have, what would you tell them?
You know, I would say, you know, go to work. This is going to take dedication, perseverance, motivation on your part. You're going to have to do it when it's snowing, when it's raining, when it's not so fun. But it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. People often say to me, Deni, you work hard. And I'll say, I don't work hard. There's people who work hard, really, really hard, manual labor for 40 years. And they never get to have this. They never get to have this kind of freedom. Now, also remember that I believe that a lot of people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5 years. Mm-hmm. You know, my husband will tell you, as he deals with so many, especially small businesses as well, most of them are not even profitable for years and years, and they go to work so hard. He'll often say, you know, Deni, people talk about the investment in ASEA. He'll say, I don't think it's an investment. You know, an investment is when you buy a franchise that you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for. People go to work so that they can hopefully recoup that years and years down the road. Well, with ASEA, that $40 investment that I made and a couple cases of ASEA that I bought to drink for our family, you know, the part that I invested was my time. So the great thing about it is I didn't have a huge cash outlay, less than $500, but I went to work. Because he'll often say, Deni, if people understood what they could make in a few years down the road without having that huge cash outlay, but so many people don't go to work like this as if they had bought a large franchise, which ASEA can pay you far and beyond what I believe most franchises ever could. You know, Paul, I'll be quite frank, Tom took out, you know, almost $750,000 to buy his practice, and yet his wife with a PhD, you know, far outburns him. And he'll tell you very frankly that I have a lot more fun doing what I do, you know, and the freedom. And again, you get to work with who you want, when you want, as much as you want. And it's incredible. Again, it's the freedom. So be diligent, be focused, and you're going to have to do this. You can do this big time. You can do it full time. You can do it part time, but you can't do it sometimes, because sometimes I'll pay you like a hobby, which costs you money, right? So again, you just have to decide what you want to do and what your goals are. I always say I want you to have a great big audacious goal, but tell me what would truly make a difference in your family's life per month. Would it be $500 a month, $1,000 a month? But I tell you, if I can help you make a $500 a month, I can teach you and I can show you how to make $500 a week, and then go from there. So my dad always, he said, Deni, God can move mountains, but don't be surprised if he hands you a shovel and a pickaxe. So you're going to have to go to work, you guys, and you can make this work, but you can change your life and your family's life forever. And I'm a huge, if I can do it, you can do it too. Have I worked hard? You bet. But it's been the most rewarding, incredible 5 years of our life.
And you've done a lot in 5 years, and you and your family, I know, are proud of yourself, and everyone in the company is, and it's just testament that what you just said, if you believe it and you stick through it, you can achieve it, and amazing things can happen. So what are you?
Well, David,
go ahead.
Go for it.
One thing Graham, we've created a lifestyle beyond our wildest dreams, but the thing I'm most proud of is that we've turned around and duplicated that. I think I have well over 30, 35 people making six-figure incomes. And that's the thing about it, is it's not just about one person making money, it's about a lot of people changing their lives. I have friends that I brought into the business who, perhaps like some of you listening tonight, they were upside down, inside out, and they did not know how the next 5 years could actually work. They were going to, again, lose their homes. And these are people now who are ASEA millionaires. And again, they've changed their life forever, even by looking at pictures of them. So again, the thing about ASEA is, no matter where I go, no matter who I meet, I have something that can dramatically make a difference in their life, in their health or their finances. And again, I believe most people are really hurting in that back pocket. And we really do have a gift to share with people on both of those fronts. Awesome.
Now, in closing, what are you most excited about for ASEA in the future?
Well, let me tell you, we just, there are so many great things that are going to happen this year. 2016 is going to be a monumental, epic year in ASEA. So let me tell you, you guys, this is a year to go to work, because a lot of people are all at the same level right this year, but you are going to see people on stage at convention who were at the same level that you are right now. And how do they get there? They're going to go to work. They're going to have a goal, and the only way that you can get to be where you want to be is where you turn around and help others get to be where you are right now. And that's why it's such a pure form of business to me. When people say, is this one of those pyramid schemes? I'll say, well, you mean kind of like my husband's business, where no one will ever make any more money than he does, right? The thing I love is in network marketing is anyone can out-earn you, outperform you. It's a level playing field for everybody. You just have to have a goal and a mindset that this is what you are going to do. Are you going to have some bad days? You bet. And you know what? In the beginning, Tom will tell you, I used to come home and go, I could be working for 7-Eleven right now, making more money. Because there's actually 3 different stages to network marketing. In the beginning, there's the stage where you're doing all this work, but you're not making anything. That's when you're out there telling people, getting people in the pipeline, getting them in the system. Then you start getting people as they make decisions. You start getting paid as you would a job. You're getting the fast starts, the beginning of your team commissions. And then the magical part about network marketing is the 3rd stage, where you start getting paid for things you never do see or touch, where people in your organization are sharing with others. People often ask me, well, Deni, what did you make last week? And I'll say, well, that's not really a fair question, because I have people in my organization who I shared this with years ago who are still drinking ASEA, and that's why I continue to still get a thank you check every single week. So that's what I'm so excited about. We're going to see so many people go across stage, but the great thing about that is any money that you ever make in ASEA will be in direct reflection to lives changed. And that's what makes me so excited.
Cool. Thanks.
Fantastic. Some really, really great stuff, Dan. Really appreciate that. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, Deni, tonight. And what regionals are you going to be at? Let everyone know where you're going to be at so people can come see you in person.
So excited. I'll be in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Regional and then at the Spokane Regional as well. And then we're headed off to Australia for the grand opening of Australia and New Zealand.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much again. And thanks there to my co-host in Marietta, Georgia. Thanks so much, David.
My pleasure, Paul. And thank you, Paul, for putting this together as you do every week.
Absolutely.
Right on, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. And be sure to tune in next week to the Connection Hangout. We'll be sending out the guests as soon as we have them confirmed. Should be shortly. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.